Hey there, what do you say there, world? Welcome to the Racers Recap. Today, we are discussing the best episode of the season, Survivor Ghost Island, episode 8. That's what I'm talking about. Day 20 through day 22. That's what we're getting into today. And Mama C, she's not here today. She is traveling and doing her speaking thing. And, I totally forgot to book a backup host. I'm going to be honest. Totally blanked out until about 2-3 hours ago and couldn't find somebody in that time. So it's just me and you tonight. We're going to break it down real quick. It's like I said, I felt it was the best episode of the season so far, and not just because of how it ended. So let's get it started. You ready to get it started? A little thumbs up, a little like, a little subscribe. It helps. It helps. I make $30 a month. I got to keep that up. Not an Amazing Race season is Amazing Race season. I make $30 a month. During Survivor season, probably make about $10 a month. For those asking, a lot of people were asking or wondering how much money people make on YouTube. Well, at least that's what I make. I don't do it for the money. I do it because I love the shows that I talk about. All right, so let's get to it. The reward challenge. There wasn't one. But what did happen? Hey, what's up, Nate? What's up, Anthony? But what did happen was, for the first time in the history of Survivor, they started the episode mid-merge. You didn't even see anything. You saw them on boats, and they were already on their way to the merge. It was the first time ever in Survivor history that's happened, and I like it. I like just get right to the meat of it because there was just so much more that they could do in this episode, or that they could show in this episode, that they didn't have to show. Oh, get them getting to the beach, and then when drop your buffs and all that. We've seen that a million times, and I mean the show's been on long enough that we don't need an explanation. We know what the merge is. Come on, get to it. Get to the best part of Amazing Race. It's the merge. All right, so it's merge time, and they head to Navidi's beach. So Navidi has got the home field advantage. All right. Let's get to this Chris thing and his rapping situation. Chris raps. Okay, I want to read his rap to you. You let me know if you think it rhymes. Life is supposed to be rich. Don't make it cheaper. Like LeBron in the finals, I won't take a breather. Cheaper, breather. Cheaper, it doesn't rhyme, bro. You got no bars. I love Wendell. Wendell became one of my favorite players once he was at that tribal council, and he went off on Chris for having no bars, for being the worst rapper. I love and appreciate Wendell for that, and I love and appreciate the Survivor editors for showing that. Actually, a couple people stood out and have really stepped it up and made me say, hey there, I am really digging your gameplay. I really appreciate you now. Dominic was one of those people that I thought was going to be voted out really early because he was playing so aggressive early, and it didn't seem like he had enough alliances to make it happen. But fortunately enough for him, Malolo sucked and just kept going to tribal council. So I think that really helped Dominic a lot, and with the time, he's blossomed into a really good player. All right, so Chris's rap, terrible. We'll get to more terrible raps that I have word for word here. Okay, so they got the merge, and this kind of irked me because how did Chris end up with the advantage? Because it was like the perfect person in that episode to end up with the advantage, and it just seemed so set up. But I guess, it was randomly in a buff, and they sat around the table. And it just so happened that the perfect person got the clue for a secret advantage. Now, I really, really loved... If you have a long enough edit, you're going home. I guess that's true there, Anthony. So I really, really loved the fact that they put this super twist on this clue that he found. So Chris had to... he found a clue, and what he ended up having to do was go to Ghost Island to go and find the idol, which I thought was going to be hidden and he'd have to find it, but it was pretty much right there. But he'd have to go to Ghost Island to find the idol, which I really love that. I really love that little twist to it. He's the only survivor ever to be voted out and not have ever cast a vote. Good. That's a good tidbit there, Anthony. I did not pick up on that because he did have the no vote, and that was his first time at tribal council, because the one time when his tribe was at tribal council, he was on Ghost Island. So this was his first tribal council and his last tribal council, and he never got to vote. He's a one-off. Yeah, but I mean, you never know what's going to happen when you're playing the game of Survivor. But he heads to Ghost Island. He finds JT's Game Changers idol, which was just sitting there right in plain sight. He didn't have to like go looking for it. And he's one of Anthony chimes in saying he's also one of the few people to be voted out of his first tribal council. What's up, Patty? How you doing? And that's true as well. All right, let me get to this over here. So he found JT's Game Changer idol, but the idol was only good for that tonight's tribal council. And if he wanted it to extend it for another up to 5 tribal councils, he had to play the game. A game of choice, 50-50 chance. He had 10 pieces of bamboo, and inside those bamboos were 5 of them were going to be, you can extend your idol. And I think 5 of them were going to be like, now you lose your vote. So if you want to give up your right to vote at this tribal council, you can extend the idol. And of course, Chris and his ego wants to do it. He wants to play. Hindsight, if he didn't play the game, he would have had to play the idol. And if he played the idol, then he wouldn't have gone home. There was so many ways during this episode for Chris to save himself. And he literally just shunned off every one of them. There was at least 3 that we'll get to. Oh my. Okay, I'll let the viewers know, Anthony. If you want to get your buffs right now, I think they're like 20-something bucks, $25. So go get your buffs, because once the season ends, they're $50. I didn't realize they were that expensive. Damn, Survivor fans are crazy. $50 for a buff? That's crazy talk. But I mean, it's a piece of history. I'd rather get an actual autograph buff. I can't be much more than that if you get like an autograph buff from one of the survivors. I know there's a lot of charities like Reality Rally and Give Kids the World. That's the chance to get those buffs autographed, and you could probably get them for cheaper than $50. Little tidbit there as well. All right, so he's on Ghost Island and he plays the game. He plays the game. He gets an extension for the second week of Idol, so he could play the Idol this week or next week. And then on the next chance, he loses his vote. So Chris is like, I could play it this week. I could play it next week. And because he has the option, we all know what happened there. All right, let's get to the overall game strategy. Navidi planned on picking off Malolo members one at a time. Like, it seems like, hey, let's just make this easy. Let's lay back and let's just pick them off one at a time, right? But Wendell sits down with Chris and Dominic, and you know they're still fighting back and forth. So Wendell wants to play peacemaker. He says, listen, Chris, let's just team up together. Let's get rid of Navidi strong, get rid of the old Malolos, etc., etc. And Chris is like, nah. There's a second chance to stay alive. His second chance to stay in the game. And he's like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Nuh-uh. Not going to do it. So he screws up the whole plan. And then Wendell and Dominic are like, you know what? Fine. It's time for Chris to go. They put the strategy in play. And it's like, hey there. You got the strategy going that you could have saved your game, but no, you blew that off. And what do? You go right to the people. You take 10 members of the tribe to go to water to get some water. Obviously, Wendell and Dominic ain't stupid, so there's no reason to even go to the water. I mean, you can go anywhere. You didn't need to use the excuse you want to get water. And he sits there and thinks he's the Mac, throwing out the plan like, yeah, I mean, we got to flush the idol, right? And they're like, how do you know he has the idol? He showed me the idol. That shell? Well, we got to flush the idol. I mean, it's simple. I mean, it makes sense, right? So we're going to split the votes. And he's like, boom. And he thinks he's all set. That's not the way it works on Survivor. Come on. Have you ever watched the season? It's never that easy. Never, ever that easy. So what does he do? Let's get to one of Chris's raps. Let's get to his second terrible rap. Once he's laying around and he feels comfortable. Life is full of opportunities. Like D Wade in his prime, I'm jumping on it with two fresh knees. Now, I appreciate that opportunities and knees rhyme, but the syncopation or the pacing of the rap doesn't make sense. So when he finally does find a rhyme, he can't get the syncopation. So I'm going to try to see if I can make it sound right. Life is full of opportunities. Like Dwayne Wade in his prime, I'm jumping in with two fresh knees. You see how long it takes me to get to the rhyme? Chris, if you're watching this, you just set white rappers back 20 years. Eminem worked so hard to give us credibility in the rap game, and you are just killing it. Speaking of killing it, did you guys see the extra clips from Ponderosa where Chris made a full-on rap video? Like a full-on rap video. I would play it here, but I don't want to get in trouble. So I would suggest that you go to a Survivor's YouTube page, Survivor's Twitter, or CBS.com, or the All Access. You have to see this Chris's rap video. It's just as terrible as you'd expect it to be, and I am embarrassed to be a part of the the white rappers, because you know I grew up in the Bronx, so obviously, I mean that's where hip hop started, so it's in the blood. Anthony's saying they uploaded it 10 minutes before Tribal Council, which spoiled the boot. I didn't notice that. It was the East Coast feed of Tribal Council? That's crazy if it was the East Coast feed. It's not normally like them to do that, but anyway, you got to go check it out. It is something. If you love Chris, you're gonna love it. If you don't like Chris, you're still gonna love it because you could sit there and you laugh at him the whole time. So Chris's rapping skills terrible. All right, so Chris wanted to split the vote, and as soon as that happened, as soon as that the group of 11 split up, Donathan runs over to Wendell and Dominic, tells them all about what's going on. He's like, "Listen, this is what we're gonna do," and then he gets that little eye thing. You want to blindside Chris? I love that little. I love Donathan. I love Donathan. I love Wendell. And I love Dominic right now. And Laurel's kind of creeping. She's a little in the back. But those are my three favorites right now. Donathan, Wendell, and Dominic. I think that is a nice little three. If those three are at the end, I would be very happy with this season. If that's the three that it came down to 100%. All right, so Chris gathers everybody up. And the plan doesn't go as they think. But while after that happens, Donathan runs over, and then the Navidi four women from Navidi, led by Desiree, start gathering up. And now they talk about voting out Libby. And I'm like, what? Why would you think at this point to vote out Libby? She's not a threat to anyone. She doesn't win anything. She's not in any huge strategic alliances. She doesn't have amazing gameplay. Unless this is stuff that we're not seeing, like Libby is not the threat. So the Navidi four are saying, hey, maybe we'll vote out Libby, led by Desiree. So that kind of leads you thinking maybe there's a possibility, but everybody knows it's either going to be Dominic or it's going to be Chris at this tribal council. I mean, Wendell and Dominic both have idols, right? They both have idols. So if they didn't want to go home, they both could have played their idol. And that's the way it goes down. It's really real simple if they wanted to. And let's get to the immunity challenge. Jump to the immunity challenge. All right, so the immunity challenge, all of the survivors had to hold a pole that was like a boom pole. If you don't know what a boom pole is, it's like they call it a boom microphone. So when there's people talking and you want to get close to them but don't want to be on camera, you got this long pole and at the end there's a microphone. So you can appreciate the sound guys now if you've seen this challenge. The sound guys got to hold it up like this the whole time and try to get the sound, get the microphone in place to get everything. So the boom guys, they got to have those big muscles. They got to have some muscles. I'm working on it. I'm not there yet. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, so as soon as the immunity challenge started, I looked at it and I was like, this is the type of challenge that a female usually wins, because females have better endurance than males. Females have a higher pain tolerance than males, and females tend to have better balance than males. So I think that the three of those things were all in this challenge, and I kind of said that it was going to be a female to win this, and it was. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, at this point, when you're watching Survivor for so long, you can kind of see, all right, these are the challenges that certain types of people will win, whether it's like strong muscular people or really thin people or males or females. And I like trying to call it beforehand. And this one was pretty cool. I never expected Kellen to win again. Kellen just really seems like meek or a little weaker to me. And I think it's her second immunity challenge that she's won already. So good on her. Like, she's not sliding in under the radar like a lot of people. She's playing the game, and she's got the immunity, and I appreciate that about her. Go ahead, Kellen. But let's get to the best part. Does Diana win what? Oh, let's get to the best part. Let's get to Tribal Council. You guys ready? Patty says Libby is getting in the way of Laurel's alliance with Dom, Donathan, and Laurel, and they want her out because she's got Michael. Okay, that makes sense. Michael's a super strong player at this point. I really like him. I just can't see. I mean, he's kind of been fading in the background the past couple episodes, and Wendell and Dominic have kind of been stepping up, and they have really taken it to me. I've taken a real strong liking to them. All right, so Tribal Council. You look at Seabass. I mean, the kid is shredded. He's got amazing abs, but he still looks like he's high. I don't know how he's getting weed on the island, but he's definitely smoking something. The dude always looked like. Yes, no one ever focuses on Seabass or Jenna because they just seem to be in the background. They don't seem like threats. They just kind of floating along. But this is, it's the merge time. There's nowhere to hide now. When there's 3 tribes, you can hide or you get lost in the edit. But now, no, there's no way. Oh, does Diana beat Kellen in that challenge? Yes. Diana's got amazing willpower. She's got pretty good balance, and she's got a really high pain threshold. I'd put my money on Diana, of course. I mean, she was the best teammate in the history of the Amazing Race. I would have to think that she'd be pretty good at the challenges in Survivor. Diana would suffer on the island. She wouldn't do good in the game of Survivor because she's not really great with social interaction strategy. That wouldn't be like her strong suit. I mean, she's a sweetheart. She has an amazing heart, and hopefully that will just shine out and people would take a liking to her. But Survivor's not the game for her. That's not her. She would not thrive in this game. I don't think she'd ever play. Couples do, Anthony said couples are threats. Couples do tend to be threats, but we'll see if there's any real couples going on there. Any real couples in this game. All right, so let's get to Tribal Council. So Seabass looks high. Dominic starts to explain the beef between him and Chris. It started on day 1, and he wants to call the truce, and, it didn't work out. But the funniest part to me is he called Jeff Jeffrey. He says, yeah, Jeffrey. It's like, dude, all right. That's Jeff Probst. He's not just the host. He's the executive producer. I mean, he is Survivor. Jeffrey? You're that close? You calling him Jeffrey now? But anyway, after he does his spiel, Jeff Probst gives him a little, like a standing ovation for his gameplay. And then after I did read an interview with Jeff Probst, and Jeff Probst said this was one of his favorites of Tribal Councils. He loves the way that this whole episode played out. He loves the way that the twists played out. He really, really loved Chris as a player, and he really appreciates Dominic as a player as well. So if Jeff likes you, there's a chance that you might be coming back for another season. That's what I'm trying to get at here. We might not have seen the last of Mr. Chris Noble. So we'll see. Do you think Chris deserves to be on another season? I mean, he's so clueless about everything that was going on. He's not a great player. I mean, he's fun to watch because he's so clueless, but he's definitely not a great player. So I don't think his gameplay deserves a second chance at all. Yeah, what's your name? Gyro Garcia? Hyro, I'm sorry if I messed up your name, but he says Chris lose the vote in the next Tribal Council anyway and send home the game. So it sounds like you'd say regardless, he'd probably lose and get home, sent home next. Patty says there's 3 real couples: Kellen, Bradley, Libby, Michael, Sebastian, Jenna. Real life couples? No. Is that true? Kellen and Bradley, Libby and Michael, Sebastian and Jenna are now real life couples. Is that what you're telling me, Patty Renshaw? I didn't realize that. I got to do some more Survivor homework. Oh, that is pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. I love it when reality people like really bond and they start dating. I appreciate that. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. Well, good on you. I definitely did not see the Kellen Bradley. I could see Libby and Michael. You know, they're both young, they're both good looking. But Kellen and Bradley, just a weird combo to me. I I just like to see them interact and see how that works. It's pretty different from me. All right. So Dominic calls him Jeffrey. Chris is like he basically says he's always going to trust his instinct, and that's what he has to do, and that's how he's been playing the game. And obviously his instincts suck. Dominic takes out the fake shell idol, puts it on, talks his little junk, and it's like, you know. I like when Dominic talks junk now because he has a little bit of control, but he has that little New York type of swagger where he's like, hey, Dan, what are you saying? I like that. I appreciate Dominic a whole lot more. The best part is when they go to vote. So let's get to the voting. Dominic goes up and he says really loud, hey, Chris Noble, it's been a pleasure serving you coffee for 22 days. I'll see you on the other side, brother. And everybody can hear him. And I love that. I really appreciate that. So it comes down to Wendell. Wendell comes up next. And Wendell just is raw right now. He tells Chris exactly how he messed up. He says, you're a great dude, but socially, you don't know what you're doing. And then he says, listen, just stop rapping. Oh, he says, stop saying I so much and start listening. Gives him some good advice. Stop saying I and start listening more. So if you ever come back, Chris, you better listen to Wendell's advice. And then he gets into it. He goes, you know what? I'm going to say it. Just stop rapping. And he starts to fold it up. And then he says, you know what? Your raps are terrible. Put down the pen. Starts putting it up. And then he opens it. And he goes, you know what? Get an eraser. And then he's, you got no bars. No, he just couldn't end it because of how terrible. I mean, you know they haven't shown all of Chris's raps. You know they haven't shown them all. So it's got to be annoying at this point, especially if you're into rap music. And then this guy's trying to, and he's terrible. And it irks me. And it irked him so much, which is awesome. And he's like, you got no bars. And in a post interview, Chris is kind of mad at Wendell, saying, he's just he still doesn't accept the fact that he's a terrible rapper. He doesn't accept the fact that Wendell actually gave him tips on gameplay. I love Wendell. Wendell really stepped up in my favorites list after that tribal council. So Dominic plays his legacy advantage. He plays it on himself, even though he didn't receive any votes. I think it was the right game. I think it was the right play. Play that legacy advantage. It's now or at 6. I mean, you only have 2 times, and this is 1 time that you have a possibility of being voted. So I think it was a good play, even though he didn't get any votes against him. Nobody else played an idol. I'm kind of surprised that Wendell was so confident, but I think Wendell has a really good ear about what's going on in camp, and he was confident, and obviously he was right. So everyone except Desiree and Angela voted for Chris, and Chris becomes the first member of the jury. Bam, bam, bam. That was actually a little beef on Twitter whether he was a jury member or not, but he's definitely a jury member. He is the first member of the jury. So we haven't seen the last of Chris. I'm pretty sure only the jury goes to Ponderosa, right? 10-3, are you sure? I think it's 10-2 and a 1 no vote. All right, there was only 13 left. Chris didn't get a vote. 10 people voted, and then I'm pretty sure it was only Desiree and Angela. For me, the moment of the episode was the Chris blindside. His face when he saw those votes. Like, since every vote, like, eh. That was the moment of the episode. It was either that, but I'm actually, that's the moment that I think this episode will be remembered for. Chris getting voted out with the idol in his pocket, keeping the damn curse. JT is probably kicking himself right now. He's probably Like, dude, break the curse. Are you kidding me? You made the same exact mistake that the person with the idol before you made. Except you didn't leave it back at camp. You brought it with you and still didn't play it because you were just so confident. Yeah, you wanted to play it next week. This was the week to play it. He didn't play it. He's going home. For me, the standout player of the week, it definitely could be Dominic for the way that he stepped up his gameplay and made sure that he got his biggest threat out of the game. But I'm definitely giving it to Wendell. Wendell tried to call a truce between Chris and Dom. I think that was super smart. It didn't work out, but he did. He tried it. Wendell steps up his game, convinces everybody that's on the fence to vote out Chris because, you know, the Navidi 4 girls could have got together and screwed this whole thing up. But I think Wendell was persuasive enough to make sure that the vote went his way. And he called out Chris for his terrible raps. I mean, come on. He's definitely the standout player of the week. That was definitely the standout player of the week to me. Wendell did his thing. For me, I think and that's why you're going home, and that's why you're not going to win award, has to go to Chris because he made so many mistakes. He had 3 separate chances to save his life in this game, and he blew all 3 of them in 1 week, and he deserved to go home, and it was just his time. Sorry, that's why you're not going to win. Blah, blah, blah. But next week, Jeff says next week it gets even better. He was talking about next week's episode already. He was getting even better. Wendell tells Laurel about the idol, and then she becomes paranoid, saying him and Dominic have way too much power. Michael could be a target. You see Wendell talking about Michael? You want to get Michael? Michael could be a target. I don't want Michael to go home. I want him to be around. I think he's playing a pretty good game. He deserves to stick around a little more. And one of everybody's favorite challenges, the gross eating challenge, where everybody's lined up and you got to eat it super fast. First one looks like it's eyeballs, and then there's like those live grubs. They always have those live grubs with the feet. This is definitely why Diana would never go on Survivor, because she wouldn't do this. This is not her thing. This is not what I wouldn't want to do this. But when you're standing in a line and there's a competition around, if I see somebody else do it, there's no way that I wouldn't do it. Doesn't matter what it is. I don't care. If I see somebody else do it and it's on, no, I'm doing it. I'm doing whatever it is, because I'm not going to let somebody else beat me because I wouldn't do something. I would never get over it. I would never. See, people ask, why haven't I tried to get on Survivor? I'm not trying to be like a reality TV whore. I want to be on some Amazing Race All-Stars. I'm waiting for Amazing Race All-Stars. And unfortunately, season 31 is not going to be an All-Stars, but season 32 might be. So cross my fingers for that. If season 32 is not an All-Stars, I will send in a tape for Survivor and get on that. And the thing is with Survivor, it's not like I want to just play Survivor. It's not like I just want to win Survivor. It's like the Amazing Race. I want to be one of the best players to ever play the game. So I will do just as much research as I did for the Amazing Race if I have the chance to get on Survivor. I know a ton of Survivors. I'll get strategies. Listen, if I ever get that chance, you better believe I'm going to be one of the top 10 Survivors to ever play the game, or I'm getting voted out first. Yes, 31 is happening. 31 is definitely going to be filmed. And if it's going to be filmed, then it's going to be shown somewhere, even if it's CBS All Access, if worse comes worse. But season 31 is definitely getting filmed. It hasn't been renewed yet. Amazing Race hasn't been renewed, but the ratings were great this year. They hung tough with Survivor. Survivor was averaging 8 million people live, and Amazing Race was averaging around 7 million people live. So it's not that far off from Survivor, and it was going up against the Olympics, so it was pretty tough. So we'll see how that goes. So next week could be crazy. I'm gonna check out the chat room here and see if there's anything that I missed. Looks like I missed a bunch. Says whoa. Okay. All right, so we got the three real couples. Kellen had a divorce 6 months after her marriage. All right, well, that happens. I mean, that's just personal business. It sucks, but that's the way a lot of marriages end in America. Instagram, you can go to all their accounts and find out who's together. That's a good little tip if you want to follow them on Instagram. I follow them all on Twitter. Instagram, I'm pretty picky about who I follow. I don't follow too many people on Instagram. Twitter, I follow everybody. I don't care. So if Kellen and Bradley get married and end up getting divorced, does Bradley become the divorce lawyer since he's becoming, I'm going to represent myself? I guess he could. Dominic has a Long Island accent. Is that what it is? Is that Long Island? Wendell is no longer with his girlfriend that he had everyone sing happy birthday for on TV. Patty, you are up on all of the boyfriend girlfriends, eh? So I guess you watched an interview with Johnny Fairplay, and he said he wasn't with his girl. Damn, that's stupid. I guess I don't know. I don't know any. It's personal life. Everybody's personal life is their personal life. I'm not one to judge. So Johnny has a podcast. Check it out. I love supporting people who do stuff. I don't really like Johnny Fairplay. I haven't met him, but like his gameplay pissed me off. His personality kind of irks me. I don't know how he is in real life, so I'm not going to judge him just yet. I will have a chance to meet him, I'm sure. So we'll see how it goes. There are a lot of idols this season, and a lot of people are playing them wrong. So we'll see. I like when people play them wrong, and I like when people play them perfectly. I don't like the ones in between. Either play them wrong or perfectly. That's the way to do it. All right. Anthony thinks when everyone finds out Michael's 18 that he's going to be gone. I don't think that means anything to anybody on the island. I don't think that's going to be a factor at all. Plus, I don't think he's stupid enough to tell anybody that he's only 18. So I don't think anybody's going to find out. Anthony says if he makes it to the finale night, he'll be the youngest to ever get to a finale. A little tidbit. Fribble thinks that Libby might go home next, and that's making him sad. But Anthony says she needs to go. Which is, I could give or take Libby. There's been a couple weeks that I was really digging her, and then after that, she kind of just fell by the wayside, and don't really see any amazing gameplay by her yet, but we'll see. Patty thinks Michael's idol is going to be played for Libby and save her. So we'll see. We'll see if that goes. Fribble Doodles thinks, says, imagine if Joey was on that challenge from Tar 30. Joey, I love Joey. Joey's a great dude. Anthony says everyone goes to Ponderosa. It's not just the people from the jury. Well, okay, that's cool. When the day of the first jury is going to decide, the pre-jury leaves. Oh, okay. So everybody from the pre-jury was at Ponderosa, but they leave when the first jury member gets there. So that makes sense. The first leg is for season 31 of The Amazing Race. Where is it projected? No clue. They've been going west mostly, so I think they might go east. They might go to one of these Asian countries. I'm guessing Japan. If I had to guess, I would say Japan is going to be the first place that they go to, but I'm not sure about all the relations and how safe things are, but I would guess Japan. All right. Hey guys, Nate's back. What's going on? At least this season doesn't have drama. Okay, that's cool. So he lied about his age. Who cares? A lot of people lie. All right, not New York or whatever. All right, so guys, thank you guys for hanging out. If you guys could pretty much give me a thumbs up or a like. If you'd like to subscribe, that'd be cool. You want to tell your friends about it, you could share it. Not a lot of people watching this one yet. Only get a couple hundred instead of a couple thousand like My Amazing Race, but there's tons of Survivor recap shows, and I understand. Who the hell wants to see some jerk from The Amazing Race talking about Survivor? You guys do, and that's why I love each and every one of you for taking the time out of your day to hang. I really do appreciate you guys. This is fun for me, whether I get to talk to survivors or not. I appreciate talking about the game. Oh, yeah, I know I'm going to have more when Amazing Race comes. That's my fan base. And I love all 2,000 or 3,000 of you that regularly watch my Amazing Race recaps. We're now on iTunes. If you want to check those out and subscribe, you can go to check out Race's Recap on iTunes. I also have a special Amazing Race episode coming up soon. I think I have one of the actual executive producers of The Amazing Race coming on the show. You guys, my friends, you guys know it first. Boop, 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 Anthony wants me to get Joe Mina. I will reach out to him today and see if I can get him on for sure. All right, guys. I'm going to go eat. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you don't know, I became vegan a couple weeks ago and I've been vlogging about it. Check it out at Vlogging Vegan. And I started a coffee company. If you want to help support, you can go to cleancupcoffee.com. It's 100% organic, non-GMO coffee, cleancupcoffee.com. Thank you guys. Have a great one. Later.